Hey guys, today I'm going to be talking about my new planted aquarium and how I like to maintain it. This has been the first month, so I'm going to be doing a simple maintenance on this, and maybe you can take some of these tips as well as I go through the whole step-by-step process and explain it all the way, and maybe apply them to your tanks at home and have success too. So without further ado, let's get into the video. To start my maintenance, I usually start by cleaning the glass with a sponge like this, due to it kind of just makes the least amount of mess. If I was trying to try and clean the hardscape or do the sand first, it would create up a lot of mess, and then I wouldn't really be able to see what I was doing with the glass. So I always start with the glass, and I usually start with this sponge here. You can see it's got like an abrasive side to it, and this helps me remove the hard watermarks around the top, and also any algae or anything on the glass. I then move over to doing something like this, where I'm using like a razor down the bottom edge, because this can be harder to do with the sponge. This kind of like razor and then of a stick helps me get down to those hard to reach areas. The next thing to do is normally using this kind of like toothbrush or abrasive brush to just kind of clean the hardscape. You can do this with rocks, you can even use a metal brush against rocks, and this really helps to remove this, but this is just similar to a toothbrush, like a plastic brush. And right now I'm getting a lot of kind of like fungus or like diatoms on the wooden hardscape, because this is like still week 2 of this tank, and this helps remove all this waste and dislodges it into the water column, so that I can then later do the water change and remove it. You can see here the kind of like fungus on the wood there. It's pretty bad in that one spot. I thought it was quite a good idea to then take a little tiny paintbrush. This tool is really handy, and what I'm doing here is kind of like just cleaning all the little plant leaves, because a lot of this kind of detritus or waste organics just collect on these leaves. One of the most interesting bits about, people ask me a lot about is how do I actually clean the substrate, or like even like soil or cosmetic sand as we're doing here. And this is just a really cheap siphon. And yeah, basically you just push down to the substrate or the sand, and then you kind of pinch the tube to stop the sand floating to the top of the siphon and sucking up the sand. But by doing this, you'll then release, and all the particles of the dirt will end up going into the siphon and getting siphoned away. Here I'm trying to use a little card to flatten the sand, but this is not the best. I think a sand flattener is needed, and I've just purchased one, so hopefully in the future that's much easier. Of course, the water change. I generally remove about 1/3 of the water every week. But because the scape is new, I'm doing it every day in the first week, every second day in the second week, and etc. And then I remineralize the water, the RO water I put back in with salty shrimp GHKH+, and I just do this with a little tiny jug of water. I don't need to take anything from the tap because it's just a small tank. This is my 2-hour Aquarist little kind of rag. Really good. A towel is highly underrated, in fact. It's really underrated. A really good towel is a hard thing to get. So yeah, switching on the filters, back on again. Everything is running, making sure the CO2, the filter is on, the heater's on, and all that stuff. So that's the final product. The water will generally stay cloudy for a wee bit, but it'll clear up after a few hours. So I really hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope you've been able to take some tips from this and maybe apply them to your aquarium. If I've missed any tips, you have any tips for other people, drop them in the comments below. And of course, if you've actually had some success with what I've mentioned here, head over to my Instagram, let me know, in the, send me a DM or something like this, mention me in your story, your post. I'd love to see the results. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.